Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are jumping in and we are doing something completely different than what we normally do. We are going to be covering how to set up SDR Trunk. SDR Trunk allows you to listen to trunked radio systems in your area, like the ones that police and fire use. You're going to need a few things to start off with. And the first things you're going to need is you're going to need some SDRs, which this is the one I use, the new elect. I don't know how to pronounce their name, but I have two of these. You're going to need two of these to run SDR Trunk in this configuration. So you're going to need two of these for a new elect. This is the one I have. It costs $33. They're generally all the same price. I found that these were a little bit better than like the other ones. So this is just the ones that I went with. Your mileage may vary. So this is the one I have. I mean, these are the two that I have. You can see they cover 100 kilohertz to 1.75 gigahertz. I know it's gigahertz. And so I have two of those. And then I have these police antennas right here, just 4-piece police scanner antennas. They come from Amazon and they are mounted in a window upstairs in my fancy duplex that I live in. And so it just, because it's a metal frame, they work really well. I live in town, so I have no issues with signal, anything like that. So those are the antennas I use. These are the SDRs I use. Now let's get into the next part. And again, let me reiterate, you need two SDRs for this, not just one, because I made that mistake. You need two. So the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need the SDR Sharp software. Again, all these things will be linked in the description below for you to peruse at your leisure. So you need the SDR Sharp software, and you come here, software defined radio package, you click download. So you download that. The next thing you're going to need is SDR Trunk. So normally when you come here, you're going to come to the SDR Trunk. It's going to be this page right here. We're going to scroll down to see where it says download the latest release. And you see all release versions of the SDR Trunk are available in the releases tab. So I'm going to click that. And I can see that this is the pre-release. This is like the nightly build of it. We're not going to go with the nightly build. What we're going to do is we're going to use the latest beta. And in this case, right now, it's version 0.60 beta 5. So you click on that version. It takes you to that version's webpage. Scroll all the way. You can read all of this stuff. You can scroll down to the bottom, and then you download for Windows, the SDR Trunk Windows x86 64 version 0.60 beta 5. That's how you download it. So once you have those two softwares downloaded, they're going to go to your downloads folder, and then you need to extract them. So I'm going to highlight them both, and I'm going to choose extract all. Extract. I made sure, like for me, I have the show extracted files unchecked because we're going to do some stuff with them anyway. So just my normal, you can leave it. It doesn't matter. Apparently, you only do one at a time. I swear I work in IT. So, okay, we've got them both extracted. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the SD Sharp x86 folder. So we can see that here's the program right here. The first thing we need to do, because you need to install the drivers for your SDRs. In my case, one of my computers, I didn't need to, and on one of them, I did need to. So for this demonstration, I'm going to show you, you just come in here, you do install RTL SDR at the time of this, and it's going to give you, this may show up on yours. I say more info, and then I'm going to run it anyway. What it's going to do is it's going to go down, and it's downloading some files, and the main file that you're concerned about is ZADIG, however you want to pronounce it. So once it's downloaded, you run this file, ZADIG. Yes, I want to run that. So you're going to see when you click this drop down, bulk interface 0. For me, it's bulk interface 0 and bulk interface 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click install driver. So it's going to take it a second to do all of this. Installing the driver. And eventually what it'll do, it'll say the driver was installed successfully. So we click close and then we do interface 1. Same thing, install driver. Again, you may or may not have to do this on your system. This is for this system. This is a fresh install of Windows. I had to do it on this system. And eventually, for the same thing, this will be done. You can click close, and you can close the Zadig, whatever this program is named, you can close it. So the next thing we want to do is go back to our downloads folder, because we're right here in the SDR Sharp x86. We're done with this software. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go back to our downloads folder, and we're going to select the SDR Trunk Windows, yada, yada, yada. And when in my case, when it's unzipped, it unzips it into a nested folder with the same thing underneath. So this is where all the program files live. So I'm going to say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this folder, and I'm going to go to this PC, local C drive, and I'm going to paste it here. Right click, paste. And then, so I know what it is because this name is horrible. I'm going to go SDR Trunk. Okay. So then we're going to open up the SDR Trunk folder. And then in this case, again, I'm going to select the bin folder. I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to find this SDR Trunk Windows batch file. So I'm going to right click on, or actually I'm going to right click and hold on it. And I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm going to right click and hold on this, and I'm going to drag it over to the desktop. It's going to say move to desktop, but it's not going to really do that. It's going to bring us up a menu, and I'm going to choose create shortcut here. And then I'm going to rename that to SDR Trunk. I'm going to put it right there. So it looks fancy. It looks nice. So that's it. Your installation is done. Oh, look, we can close that. So then all you need to do at this point is run SDR Trunk. And if you get your Windows Protect your PC message, we're going to run anyway. And here's your startup screen. So SDR Trunk uses Java. Java is built into it. And you just let it do its thing until it comes to here where it says calibrate CPU. So we are going to allow it to calibrate the CPU. So we're just going to click this button, and it's going to do its thing in the background. So it's 19 calibrations, 20 to 40 seconds each. So while we're in this right here, we're going to, do we need to do anything here? I don't think so. You can come over here to output tones. And what I like to do is I take my primary sound driver and I set it to mono. So when it's set to stereo, sometimes you just get audio in the left hand in the left side speakers, or you may just get it in the right side speakers. But if you choose your primary sound driver as mono, it just puts it on both speakers at the same time. Then obviously you can test, and it makes a noise. That's the noise you'll hear when, actually, this is the noise you'll hear when they like key up. So that's the noise, and you can change that to different things. So I do that, and then let's check through our application. That is fine. You can come in here where the duplicate calls, so if for some reason you're seeing or hearing duplicate calls, I leave it at the default where it just turns off suppresses duplicate calls. I don't think I do anything with MP3 or record. It's doing our vector calibration. The next thing you need to do is come into the JMB audio library, and you need to create library. So this is very important. This allows you to decode all of the traffic. So we're going to remember JME audio library, click create library. It's going to say this version's available. Would you like to download it? Yes, we would. We're going to click at this point, create library. Is educational purposes only, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to say yes. And so what it's going to do is it's going to go out and it's going to download and it's going to install it. Again, like they said, this is SDR Trunk is for listening purposes only and educational purposes only. You know, you understand. Like if you're watching this, you understand. So click OK, you're good to go. We can look through all this stuff and you can mess with this. I don't mess with any of this. And then under tuners, I leave it as polyphase and dual tuner. That's what I do. So I leave the defaults on pretty much everything except for outputs and tones. I select my primary sound driver as mono, and you need to make sure you create your JMBE audio library. So we're going to minimize this, and this is the main screen right now. So the next thing you need to do is you need to configure it. So we've got it installed. So let's now configure SDR Trunk. So let's go to the playlist editor. And this is going to be the default playlist. You can add as many playlists here as you want. I only have one. The town I live in isn't that big, so they don't have a lot of trunked systems. They only have one. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is our channels are blank because we haven't done anything with that yet. And so you can do all of what I'm about to do manually. Because you can do all new phase 1 because we're a phase 1 state. So I can do new phase 1 and go through all of this manually. I would suggest you don't do that. I would suggest you go to radioreference.com and get a premium subscription for $15. This is going to make it so much easier. So we can come over here like radioreference.com premium and sign up for the 180 days of premium subscription. One, it helps out radioreference.com because I've used this site a ton. And it's $15. So with the $15 and the other equipment, I may have $100 into all of this. So again, radioreference.com/premium and sign up for a premium account because it's going to make your life so much easier. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new alias list, and I'm just going to give it a name. Normally I would name this my town, but not going to do that. So identifier, then we're going to go to the identifier tab and we'll say alias list 1. There's nothing here first. This is all just setup. We're not going to do anything with the recording tab. You may do something with it. I don't do anything with it. So again, alias list, create a new alias list, and then select the identifier tab, and you have different things. So like talk group is what we're going to be going with here in this video. Select alias list 1. The streaming tab, I don't do anything with this. If you are streaming to Broadcastify, Icecast, Radio Scanner, all this stuff, you can use this to stream to that. If you have a question about Icecast, I know a little bit about it, so you could just ask those. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the radio reference tab, and you can see it's blank, so we're going to log in. So once you're logged in, you're at this screen. The first thing you're going to do, and like I said, this makes it so much easier. You select your country. You got to scroll to the bottom because they're in alphabetical order. Find the United States. Well, at least I'm in the United States. Then you find your state, which for me would be Indiana. And then you find your county, which I'm not going to show you my county. So we're just going to select Allen. Well, we're not going to select Allen because that's Fort Wayne and it's huge. Let's select, let's say Howard County. So that would be Kokomo. So we're going to say, okay, what systems do we want to listen to? We want to see Indiana. Like for me, I know that mine is Indiana Project Hoosier Safe T. So I select that. And you can see that there's a bunch of different things. They got Project 25 Phase 2, Project 25 Phase 1. We're going with the Project 25 Phase 1 stuff. And so you can see that it's searching now. It's going out to radio reference, and it is searching for the information. So it's going to take it a moment, and then it's going to all pop up. And what you're going to see is system views for every county, and in my case, the county's in Indiana. So I always sort mine by county, and then I scroll down to find the county that I live in. So we're going to select Howard County right here. So we see 55. Howard County is Kokomo. And we can, once you click on that, what pops up is all this stuff underneath, which shows you all the frequencies that are in use on phase 1 in Howard County in Kokomo. So then what I'm going to do is you have over here frequencies, which are the control, alternates, selected, and all. So for us, because we're using SDR Trunk, what I'm going to do is you can do a couple different things. You can do what I'm going to do right now, and then I will show you the other one that you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select control. So it's going to select this control frequency, which would be this one that I've highlighted. Let's go ahead and, just for giggles, click on the control. Make sure control is selected. Make sure single is selected. And then you have to select your alias list, which is alias list 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and uncheck the go to channel editor. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to click create channel configuration. So the next thing you can do is, if you say you're having issues hearing this control station, but you can hear the alternate control station. So you could put them both in there. So you can do control and alternates, and then the same thing, make sure your alias list is 1 and create channel configuration. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over to talk group view. So this is going to list every talk group in the state of Indiana. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the category drop down, and I'm going to find Howard County. Well, we're going to do this. Howard County is weird because it's not the exact same as mine. But so normally it would look like this, like Huntington County does. So what it does is it basically creates the talk groups for the county. And so we're going to say this. Basically, this allows you to, it gives you an alias for everything. So I'm going to make sure that my import to alias list is selected. And then I always uncheck the set encrypted talk groups to muted. And then what I also do is I click on each one of these and I create an alias. Wait. Yeah, it's selected. So if I do import all, well, actually, let's see, import all talk groups. There, it did it for you. So there you go. Import all talk groups. And then when you come back, we're done here. So I'm going to come back over to the channels tab, and you can see it created my channels for me. And so when you select, so from here, all you have to do is hit play. Sometimes you may need to, the one thing that I usually do is I up this to 10. It may or may not make a difference. You can also ignore data calls. So it doesn't, just things that you don't like, it doesn't need to hear. You're not going to hear any traffic on. So, but you always, the one biggest thing is C4 FM or LSM. If you're not hearing any traffic, switch this to LSM from C4 FM. So I always like to leave it at the default. I max the channels at 10 and I ignore data calls, and then I hit save. The other thing that you can do right here is you can do auto start. So you can select this as auto start, start order as 1. And then whenever you open the program, it auto starts it. Save. And then, so the difference here is you can see when we created the one with the alternates in it, it added the second frequency here. And so what it'll do is you see the frequency rotation delay is 400 milliseconds. So you can move that up and down, But what it does is it basically scans between those two channels and listens on them. And again, leave that at C4 FM unless you're having problems hearing, then you can go to LSM and then you up your traffic to 10. Or you can leave it at 3, whichever, and then you click save. So that's how you set up the channels. That's it. The other thing you need to do is over here on aliases, you will see all of these different. So when we clicked imported all those aliases, the one thing that it does is that it sets these all to listen. If you import these and you don't have them set to listen, from what I gather is that it will mute if you don't hear traffic, it's because this is not set to listen. It's muting all your traffic. So you always have to have this set to listen. Again, your mileage may vary. You can play around with it, see what you think, but I have mine all set to listen. And then what you can do is you can prioritize them. So like if you wanted to look at this, so I can see this is a emergency EMA might be emergency management dispatch. So if I said, okay, for all these dispatch channels, I'm going to set their priority to 1. And so there wasn't much that I could find on priority other than I assumed 1 was better than 99. So all my dispatch channels I have set to 1. So you can also change colors. So like if you wanted all your dispatch channels to be red, you hit apply and their color is red. And when you see them talking, their name will be red. And then you can come through and do that, like, okay, so you want to hear the Howard County Fire. You can say, okay, well, I want their color to be that color. And I know these are fire trucks and their priority is going to be, say that priority is 3. Didn't add my fire. Oh, you have to hit apply on the fire truck and then apply on that color. So don't forget to hit apply on all your colors. Dispatch, 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 dispatch. And then we're going to say, maybe we make them blue. Apply. So make sure you're hitting the apply button. That's my bad. Again, like for here, we're going to say priority of 1. So then you can come through and then you're like, okay, this is Howard County. HCE, I'm not exactly sure. That could be state police or whatever, but you could say maybe their color is orange and then their priority is 2. And then, like emergency management, same deal. Like they could be priority 5 or something, and then green. So that's how you set up priorities and all that stuff. So if you select 1, it's over here on the right. So I'll say priority of 5, color of, green, and then save. So if you do 1, you have to do that and then click save. But that's pretty much it for your aliases. And then at this point, you're ready to click the play button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the play button. We're going to see what happens. So we can see that it's trying to talk to something. And I should not get any response on this because it's not the actual county I live in. So what we're seeing is because it's not the actual county I live in, we're seeing this sync loss because it has no signal. So if you're seeing this and you're in your correct county and you've set everything up and you're seeing sync loss, it's because it does not have a signal. And again, you have to have an antenna that specifically covers, like in my case, it's 853 megahertz. So my antennas all cover 853 megahertz. So that is how you set up all the things for SDR Trunk. I'm sorry I can't show. I can't show you where I live, so I can't show you it in action. But I can also see like my vector calibration is now finished, so I can go ahead and close this. But yes, that is how you set up everything for SDR Trunk. That's how you get it going and everything. And if you have any questions on it, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer as best I can. You can always come into Discord, and my Discord is also linked in the description below. So feel free to pop into Discord and ask me questions. We can get into a call or a Discord call or something if you have any questions, or post questions in the Discord, and I'll be happy to answer them. So as best I can, like you can show me what's going on, and we can try to troubleshoot it a little bit. Again, I'm not an expert, but that's what I do to make it all work. And hopefully you can make it work as well. It's fun to listen to things and hear what's going on in your community. So again, any questions, please ask in the comments below, or feel free to come into the Discord, ask questions there. Most of the people in there are pretty nice. So that's going to do it for me today. And I appreciate y'all hanging out. Thank you so much. And until next time, take care.